Welcome to the Cincy Postcast presented by LASIK.com, where better vision equals better calls. I'm Kevin Wallace, and before we get started with today's episode, I get to tell you about our friends over at Streetside Brewery, the best brewery in the city. They are doing some amazing stuff over at Streetside. An amazing place, by the way, to watch an away game, like, say, this Sunday at 3 p.m., where you can watch NYCFC host the Orange and Blue. They have a wide variety of beers on tap. They have an awesome selection that they are really good at. They've got great food options there as well. A lovely patio space when the weather is nice, like it has been the last couple of days. An awesome place to go check out a match. Please go check out our friends over at Streetside Brewery, and you will not be disappointed. And on today's episode, well, there's not a whole lot going on in the world of FC Cincinnati, so we broke this up into two parts. Part one, we're putting the soccer first-ish. Please use the timestamps to find what you are looking for in these podcasts. But we preview the NYCFC match this weekend in part one and touch on a little bit of news around the team. And then in part two, we are answering Patreon questions. Lots of good questions in there. Our most hated MLS 11. There's some wrestling talk in there. There is a lot of really good stuff. A lot of talk about hockey, okay? So go check those out. Put it all together. You got yourselves a delightful little Thursday episode of the Postcast. Joining me to talk about all of that and more, I'm joined by two gentlemen that I am going to force listen to my hypothesis about zombies. I need you guys to hear this. Grayson and Chief, here's the thing. A lot of energy has been spent over the last, say, 20 years or more hypothesizing zombie apocalypse scenarios. What would you do in a zombie apocalypse? What would happen should a zombie outbreak happen? And it hit me the other day that we know the answer to this. And we know the answer to this because a zombie virus already exists in our midst. So there is a disease that, if contracted, turns you violent. It turns you frothing at the mouth. It turns you unable to drink water before it eventually locks up your body and you die. And the way it is spread is via bite, via saliva into the bloodstream. That is textbook zombie virus. That is rabies. We have the disease already, and it turns out pretty good at containing it.
I thought where this was going was like, yes, I would fight the gorilla instead.
I'm past that already. I'm already too. The zombie virus exists and we've managed it already. Like, yes, there are certain parts of the world where this is certainly more of a concern, but it turns out like killing animals that show signs and having doctors and science work on cures and vaccines would pretty much end your zombie future.
I mean, yeah, except it depends on the zombie world, because there are zombie worlds where zombies will eventually, like, after not too long, just die of natural causes.
Right.
And so if when they're not biting more people, they will just go away. Right. Like, if you can contain them and you can keep them from spreading it, after a period of time, the zombie thing is done.
Yeah.
But there's others where, you know, they stay basically forever.
True.
Or for all intents and purposes, forever. And that's, I guess more of a problem. Not quite.
That would be more of a problem.
I guess 2 comments. One is on the rabies point. Yes,
Please.
like we have pretty well contained that.
Yeah.
But it is like also the way that stuff works in the world these days is we view problems as things that happened in the past that we contained.
I see.
That are over. Right?
Oh, no. Oh,
and
no.
it's like, oh, no, we already dealt with this issue.
Yeah.
Now it's over. And we don't have to think about it anymore.
Yeah.
Right?
No
and
problem.
That's when it comes back.
I think the issue is more so that, well, why do we need this anymore? Rabies doesn't exist.
Right. That's also an issue.
So
I think they're related.
Yeah. I think the important thing
it would be like you build a wall to keep out the zombies.
Yeah.
And then you're like, we hadn't had a zombie attack in 20 years.
Right.
Well,
we need these resources.
We can build another wall. The zombies will pay for the wall. Everyone knows this.
We tariff the zombies.
What you're saying is in the aggregate, though, is that it's important to know the zombie world that you're living in, which means the official motto of this podcast, say it with me, you need to do your own research.
Do your own research. That's exactly what we are always saying, mainly because we don't offer you any research. Yes.
I think the other element of zombieism that's important is like, you don't know when you're a zombie. Like even in like the sentient zombie kind of universes.
But I think my understanding of rabies is you got a couple of days before you start presenting symptoms. So you could have the situation that every good zombie movie has, which is somebody gets bit and they disguise it from the rest of the group until they're all in like some locked room together.
The most delusional people on the planet are the ones who are like, why would anybody hide that they've been bit by a zombie? Those are the most delusional people. I don't know, like a lot of people,
right?
Dare I say most people would hide that they've been bitten by a zombie. They would just say, it'll be fine.
Yeah, it's not going to happen to me.
They're like, it's going to resolve itself one way or another. Like, why risk people over? Like,
I don't want to die now.
No one needs to know about this right now.
Right. I'll tell them a little bit later. Like, I've got a few hours before I really become a problem for them. So.
Right. Because you didn't see all the people that got bit and nothing happened to them. Obviously, you're just going on the sample size. If I saw all these zombies that got bit and they turned into zombies, what about all the other people who probably are fine after being bit? They don't tell you about them in the lamestream media. They just want to purvey fear that it's a 1-to-1 ratio between bite and zombification. I choose a different path. I'm not going to be a sheep.
What about the people who died from like malnutrition, from not letting them have the tainted food?
Right.
You know, the zombie bite is only like 99% lethal. It's way more lethal letting your buddy shoot you in the head.
Yeah, that pretty much does it most of the time. I mean, do people also have the idea that like if they find out they have a terminal disease, they would end it right then and there? Like almost nobody does that.
Also, let's be real clear here too. Being a zombie sounds like a lot of fun. Like
I've always said I would want to become a boss zombie.
Yeah,
I would immediately strap myself up with goodies, snacks, and then try to put on like a helmet and make myself like difficult to murder. I'm taping like machetes to my hands.
And, just leave enough things that could potentially kill you in the area around that you're going to call your lair.
It's the only, polite thing to do. Give them a sporting chance.
Yes. And you know what? You never have to work. You don't pay taxes as a zombie. You don't got to go to work as a zombie.
It's true. You have some degree of consciousness because you do have a sort of primal urge for what I'm going to assume is food in this case. But like your brain, it's kind of like if your dog watches TV, like you could probably watch TV. You might not fully comprehend what's going on, but that'll be fun.
Yeah. Could be worse, right? There's worse ways to go.
Probably not many.
And the other thing, too, is that if you hide the bite, you can bite all your buddies and you can all be zombies together. What's more fun than that? Being able to chill with the bros and the homies for the rest of the time.
Isn't there that scene in the Fallout show where the like dudes that are like half zombies are just kind of chilling in the lab?
Yeah.
Doesn't seem that bad.
I was
Walton
thinking
Goggins being a zombie seem pretty cool. I think he's all right.
That's true. I was thinking of the final scene of Shaun of the Dead. He's got his buddy chained up to the couch so they can play video games together.
Yeah.
Oh God.
So there's not a lot going on in the FC Cincinnati universe right now.
No, how did you know?
I just wild guess right here.
Yeah, there isn't a whole lot going on in the FCC world. So we thought we would dive directly into the match. I will say though, Chief, well done doing a little rabble rousing with the hell is real pricing scandal. I will say
you foolishly gave me the password to the Post Cincy's social media accounts, and I decided, I choose violence for a day.
It was great because, as sort of co-admins, there's other admins as well, but I don't know when the Post posts something, so I was working and then go to check in and I'm like, whoa, why do we have so many notifications? What is going on here? Oh, Chief is talking smack about Columbus. Well, we got to put this on Blue Sky as well. And it got some traction there. So
yeah. I mean, for those people who didn't know, the only real big piece of non-team FC Cincinnati news is that for the away ticket allotment that's being given to the supporters groups, the front office of FC Cincinnati has stepped up to provide a $25 subsidy to help cover the cost of tickets because the Columbus crew has decided to make these tickets $89 for a match ticket to the worst seat in lower.com stadium. We've all sat there. It is an awful seat. $89 to go see Hell is Real, the away leg, as a member of the FC Cincinnati traveling fan contingent as Vancouver scores again. Just vibes off the charts high on this. But what's funny about this too is that so the way that the pricing works for Hell is Real is that whichever team hosts first sets the price, and then the other team just sort of responds so that neither side is higher than the others. And Columbus has had the opportunity to host the first leg 2 years in a row and has set the price 2 years in a row.
Yeah.
And during this time, I think they've raised it like 20% each season to where it's gone from the last time FC Cincinnati hosted the match. I think it was like $65 for a match ticket to now nearly $90 because they've jacked the price each time. And
Jesus,
they deserve to be shamed for this.
Yes.
They 100% deserve to be shamed. All teams deserve to be shamed for charging that kind of price to away supporters. There should be consistent pricing around the league for all away support. I'm of the belief that your away support ticket should be no more expensive than whatever you're charging your home supporters section. So if it costs $30 to sit in the Bailey, it should only cost $30 to have a ticket as an away supporter to an FC Cincinnati match. But good on the FC Cincinnati front office for doing this, because it's hilarious to dunk on the crew yet again for attempting to just extract as much money as possible from their ticket buying public, whether it's raising the price of Hell is Real 2 years in a row or moving the premier game versus Inter Miami to a bigger stadium to sell more $80 tickets up in Cleveland and remove your home field advantage.
Well, Chief, let's not forget, it would be $89 for FC Cincinnati fans to go up there. And it is reciprocal, as you mentioned, but it will not be $89 for Columbus fans because they will have to buy their allotment of tickets from the Nordecki, their supporters group coalition, who upcharges it another $10.
Neat.
Because why not?
Because reasons. Because they've got like $100,000 in the bank for no discernible reason as a nonprofit.
They're nonprofits. You can look it up. The Nordecki. They have Form 990. Every good nonprofit publishes these, submits these.
Sometimes they forget to submit them.
Well, it's been known to slip through sometimes, but yeah, they'll tell you how much money they brought in, how much money they spent, how much money they're keeping on hand. It's a lot of money. There's a lot of money up there.
Yeah, but it's good. It's important for them to keep cash on hand because I heard Trump is pulling their federal funds.
That's true.
Woke.
you never know the president.
He should love them.
The NordEI key.
Right. Well, they're wearing hard hats. They're working people. They're the kind of factory workers we're going to need during this American. Yeah, I saw that highlight too. Just watching Grayson's reaction right here. We're both watching this.
I'm a little behind you.
This CONCACAF Champions Cup match. Yeah, it
wouldn't have made it a game, but it would have been.
It would have sold
something.
It would have sold some tickets. We'll put it that way.
Yeah. Isabel Allende.
Kevin, I had another thought that might be FC Cincinnati related.
Grayson, real quick, I have an Isabel Allende book behind me. I thought that was very funny. And yes, the Taddeo Allende. Yeah, sorry, Chief, hit me with it.
So going into this game, Kevin Denke is on a 2-game scoring streak, right?
Yes.
And 2 matches in a row where he has received a yellow card for taking his shirt off, correct?
For shirt-related behavior.
Shirt-related infractions.
Yeah, not taking his shirt off. That's for damn sure.
There was a card a bull offense of lifting his shirt.
Yes.
And then there was a non-discretionary yellow card given in the last game for fully removing his shirt.
Yes.
Right. So there is this is all pursuant to Law 12 of the FIFA rules, correct? Is my understanding?
Yes.
Right. It's Law 12. It's celebration of a goal. I've pulled this up on the official website.
It's the laws of the game from IFAB, I believe, but continue.
Yeah. Players can celebrate when a goal is scored, but the celebration must not be excessive, choreographed. Choreographed celebrations are not encouraged and must not cause excessive time wasting. Leaving the field of play to celebrate a goal is not a cautionable offense, but players should return as soon as possible. A player may be cautioned, even if the goal is disallowed, for climbing onto the perimeter fence and or approaching the spectators in a manner which causes safety and or security issues. Gesturing or acting in a provocative, derisive, or inflammatory way. Covering the head or face with a mask or other similar item. Removing the shirt or covering the head with the shirt. So, those are the cautionable things that you can do to celebrate. Denke.
Those are must
cautions.
Yeah.
So, removing the jersey, not allowed.
Pants allowed.
Dropping trowel? I didn't hear anything about that. So, if they're going to card him for scoring goals and taking his shirt off, my suggestion would be if he gets 3 goals in 3 games, you run out to the center, drop trowel, and flex.
Damn. That would be so
not
good.
Cautionable.
I was just thinking that IFAB sounds like something that I don't know, a Frankenstein of a particular proclivity might say. IFAB.
Like Steve Jobs comes back from the dead to invent a 3D printing company.
I was thinking Grayson too. I slay. See, it works. Yeah, so obviously he needs to do that.
Yeah.
It is worth noting that it is against the rules of the game to wear a mask. So FIFA not woke. So there you go. Clearly in the rules, at least not in a celebratory manner. So
put the mask on to celebrate.
Didn't Mbappe wear a mask?
Not to celebrate though. He had it on the entire time.
Oh, you can't wear a mask to celebrate.
But wait, did he ever score a goal while wearing the mask? That must be cautioned.
No one cared who he was until he put the mask on.
He's great up until he like gets happy. Well, FC Cincinnati is going on the road to play New York City FC. Chief, it's another afternoon game, back to back, 3 p.m., but on the road.
I don't mind road afternoon games. Road afternoon games are fine because you're probably going to watch that from the comfort of your home more than likely, or wander up to street side to have a pint on the patio. That's fine. It's when like you have to mix in like the pregame, going to the stadium, leaving the stadium, and like potentially being day drunk at like 5:30. That's just a recipe for a bad time.
You could just, I guess, moderate your drinking at the game.
No, that's
Please
not happening.
leave the Zoom call.
Yeah, no, that's false, erroneous. So I don't mind the afternoon games, and here's the thing too. I especially don't mind the Sunday afternoon games because Sunday is a fake weekend day, and you get the game over before the Sunday scaries hit at around like 5:30, 6 o'clock. So, whereas the afternoon game on a Saturday, it's probably going to impact and screw up your Saturday night plans a little bit. And you got to make the choice of, am I going to, consume heavily and cash out early and miss out on my Saturday night, or moderate your drinking like someone here is suggesting, and, not have the full enjoyment of the match that you otherwise would have to preserve your Saturday night. On a Sunday, day game, away game, you're probably thinking about turning in and figuring out what the rest of your night's going to look like at around 5 o'clock anyway, getting ready for the work week.
Chief, I am so glad you brought up that this is a Sunday match because I had no idea.
It almost feels like there's too many options with like a Sunday afternoon match because it's like too many and too few, because it's like 3 o'clock is a little bit of a weird time.
Yeah.
Because it's like, well, I can't I don't know. It's like, what am I going to do around this game?
Right. You don't want to eat, watch game, eat.
No,
that would be crazy.
World is your oyster right here. You can go out, get your yard work done if that's, you're into that. That's plenty of time to wake up, play around at 18, and be back at around 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock to get ready for the match. Get a nice day. You get a run in, responsibly on a sidewalk like a normal person.
It's not a bad idea to play golf Sunday morning.
Yeah. Things to think about.
I may try to make that happen.
See? Ideas right here. Sundays.
You and Pat Noonan are both going to try this.
Pat's going to get a round in before the game on Sunday, too.
Absolutely.
So I don't hate it. I don't hate Sunday afternoon. Sunday afternoon, this is good. Sunday afternoon, this is replicating other sports that I enjoy. This is the NFL Sunday schedule, and this is tried and true for a good time to play matches or to have sporting events hosted.
I like it. NYCFC, 9th place in the Eastern Conference at time of recording. They did win their last one 1-0 over the formidable Toronto FC. Last couple of games out. This one, well, I don't need to remind you all, but they bounced us from the playoffs.
Yeah, that's no good.
So that's not fun. They beat us in the league before that on October 2nd. We did get to beat them in that wild 4-2 game in the League's Cup, though. So it's been a wonky couple of games.
Was that the Kubo hat trick game?
There was a game that but there was a game they beat us. They were up, and we got 4 goals in the last 15 minutes or something crazy.
Yeah. So they were 4-2 here. Let's see this. They scored in the 25th and 61st minute. And then we scored our goals in 79, 82, 86, 89. A wild finish to that game.
I didn't watch a minute of that game because I think it was at 2 a.m. where I was.
Yeah. This was also a game that it was like heavily rotated. Dado, Baird, Halsey, Kelsey, Pinto,
That
Keller,
was the
Paul Walters
game.
All played in this one. So something could give here. NYCFC has not been particularly good this season. They have a -1 goal differential. Let's see. They lost to New England 2-0. Before that, they did beat Philly 1-0. Lost to Minnesota. Lost to Atlanta 4-3. FC Cincinnati is, of course, riding a 5-game winning streak, 6 games unbeaten, but maybe the most promising news is that everybody is healthy and training and practicing this week, with the exception of Alec Can, who I assume doesn't get to count anymore when we say these things. But Obi and Hadebi are back. Grayson, are we going to see the lineup, the first choice lineup?
I don't think so.
I don't either.
Well,
who is the
first choice lineup? I don't know, right? But I do think that there will be a point in time where I will not believe we've seen the first choice lineup until and unless Luca Orishano is starting out on the right wing, out at right wing back, and so, you know, we might see like I think we'll see like an arguable best 11, but I don't think we'll see the best lineup the team can put together tomorrow.
It's interesting.
Sunday.
It's interesting that you bring that up about Luca Orishano, because Pat Noonan was on, what's the name of the podcast with Dax McCarty?
Major League Journeyman.
And,
which, no spoilers, I haven't listened to it yet.
Okay, well,
no, go ahead.
I'm going to spoil him because it's too content writer.
Like my ears.
He was on this podcast. He was interviewed for about almost an hour. He was on for about 55 minutes. The last 15 of which were him talking about the U.S. men's national team, and he had some takes about that not relevant to this discussion. But the topic of Luca Orishano came up, and listen to it, because my takeaway from the interview was that I think Pat was acknowledging that he really doesn't like Luca Orishano up top, and that he is only up there because that's where he's needed right now. And that like the idea is that like he's playing in this position because that's what the team needs, even though it's not his strength, was the sort of the vibe of it. Listen back to it. But they the hosts of the podcast were like, yeah, Lucas sucks. And Pat really didn't criticize. Pat didn't push back on that take right now in terms of like, not that he sucks as a player, but that his performance has been terrible thus far this year. Pat did not push back on that at all. But when he went to talk about it, he was like, look, you know, we have a lot of players that were being asked to, you know, to buy into this concept of doing things for the team. And I know that Luca is playing where he is because that's where he's needed. It was interesting to me. And it did lead me to wonder a little bit where Pat thinks Luca fits on this team. And, you know, how much longer this may last until they decide, if he really doesn't believe that deploying him as a striker is his best use, how much longer it's going to last before they decide, well, we need to get the most out of him, and we'll take a little bit less playing next to Kevin Denke in the form of Sergio Santos, or I guess Corey Baird. But I don't even think they view Corey Baird as a striker any longer. So I don't know what that's all.
So that's interesting, because I was thinking about Luca Orishano after we recorded the last podcast. I was thinking about, you know, the best usage of Luca Orishano, and obviously it's been, maybe not obviously, but it's been quite a subject of conversation in the Discord for a bit now. And there was also a concept, actually, you know, I heard on that same podcast, Major League Journeyman, the hosts talk about Bruce Arena as a coach. and say that like Bruce has no tactics, that he's like offensively just like good players figure it out. You know?
Right.
And Noonan spent a lot of time. I'm not saying Noonan has no tactics. I'll let others say that. But he spent a lot of time under Arena. And so like if there is a degree of, we have a lot of talented offensive players and I would like it, and we'll let them see what they can figure out with each other. I think that putting them in positions where they're more naturally comfortable is the direction you have to go. Because if they're more likely to figure it out, if they're in positions and occupying spaces that they're familiar with as players, right? The types of positions that brought them to this team on the contracts they're on. And for Luka, I think that is primarily as a wide player.
Right. That's kind of the tricky thing though, is as a sort of second forward up top, I assume he will be is allowed to drift wide. And so at that point, he kind of is playing as that attacking winger.
Okay, but then he's like occupying the same spots as Yedlin when Yedlin gets forward. Or when he's central, he's occupying the same spots as Denke and Evander. And it's one thing if they're close to each other and they're like playing real quick through a defense. It's another thing when they're just on top of each other,
literally standing next to each other. Yeah.
And I have no doubt that Luka has the abilities to play as some variation of a 10, false 9, second striker type of player. But you need to drill him up and coach him up on like exactly what you want everybody to do. Like, I think you need to have like a stronger hand on everybody's movements.
Yes.
If you're going to do it that way, if it's going to be, these guys are most effective when they are figuring it out. All right. Well, then let's put them in the spaces where they understand, that they naturally understand, because these are the spaces they've been occupying for the last decade as like academy and professional players.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's, they're in a pickle with it, I think, because I don't think it's been effective at all with Luka playing up top. And if he moves out wide, that's going to cost someone a starting spot, whether that's Engel or DeAndre Yedlin. And if it's DeAndre Yedlin, does he move back to the back line as a center back? Because we've seen him do that. We saw him do that in the game this past weekend when Orishano moved out wide as the substitutions went through in the late stages of the game. DeAndre Yedlin drops back to play one of the 3 center back roles. And if you do that, then you're adding him to the deepest position group on the team.
Right. Now, a couple of those guys are coming back from injury, Hagelin, Miazga, and certainly Hadebe now. But to argue in favor of that, Miazga has not looked his speedy self. I think mentally he is there. I think his passing is there. I don't think the quickness has come back just yet. And I think having a very athletic, very fast center back partner in Yedlin on one side and then Robinson on the other could really help compensate for what Miazga is still missing.
But Hadebe is also speedy.
Yeah, but he's coming back from injury, which is why I'm saying for the next, let's say 3 or 4 games at least, I think this is a viable strategy. I don't know what 3 months from now looks like.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't love so if Orishano takes Yedlin's spot, I think Yedlin just becomes a backup, a sub. I mean, in spot starter.
Can we make Yedlin the striker?
What if we built the entire plane out of Yedlin? Then at that point, that's tough. You've got almost $2 million sitting the bench on this team between Yedlin and Sergio Santos.
Yeah, but you want depth.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't put Yedlin and Santos in the same category. Like,
I'm not putting them in the same category, but they're just, well, yes, I am.
Yeah.
They're both on the bench. And so
Santos makes more. So clearly they're in different categories.
Right,
I actually don't know that for sure.
So I'm pretty sure. I think Santos does make more.
Okay.
Yeah, he does too.
But I'm okay with there being depth. I mean, you got cup competitions, you got midweek games, you got rotation.
Yeah. They're about to have to start playing some Wednesday games too. I don't know if we've talked about that yet, but the fixtures are going to be a little more frequent here in the next month.
Yeah, in like 2 weeks, I think Wednesday games start again.
Yeah, they're going to.
There's a summer window.
Yeah, in the month of May, they're going to play 5, 6, 7 games in the month of May.
Oof. Gross.
Little bit. Little bit.
Oh gosh. So how do we feel about this game?
I hate playing on this field. I hate playing in New York. New York is set up to New York is
this is, to be clear, this game is at Citi Field. But
cool.
like I know not better than Yankee Stadium, but for the listeners, this is at a baseball stadium, but it's not the one
for some reason
that they play most of their games on.
I think it is better, but I don't know why I think that. Like, it's not great.
It feels like they don't have home field advantage at Citi Field.
That's it.
They don't know their way around like the backstage area. Yeah, it's New York. Just I'm not going to do research on this, but it just feels like New York is always built to play on this smaller field. They train to play on this smaller field. And I just don't think this FC Cincinnati team, the way it is built right now, it is not built for a small field. The types of things that you need to be able to do effectively in order to play on a field like this, tight, intricate, controlled passing, moving down the field with short passing triangles, being accurate with your passing, being controlled, not turning the ball over because turnovers turn into odd man rushes so much quicker on the small field. Mm-hmm. Control of space. The other thing that this smaller field negates is quality of center back play and defensive play, because it's so much faster action on the smaller field. So I think this is a uniquely bad matchup for FC Cincinnati with the combination of how New York plays and the style that's needed to play on this field.
Yeah, I buy that. The nice thing here is, though, NYCFC is just not very good.
Am I reading this right, that they're starting an 18-year-old in the central midfield?
Jonathan Shore?
Yeah.
Yes, I believe he started their last game.
They only have one DP, and it's a center back.
Jonathan Shore indeed started alongside 38-year-old Maxi Morales in the last game.
I'm looking at this. Jonathan Shore has started like 3 games in a row. Kid looks like he's barely old enough to shave.
That's hilarious. Matt Freese is good. He's always a good goalkeeper.
Yeah, he's a really good goalkeeper.
And then their stud is Alonso Martinez. Martinez has been killing it for them. Costa Rican international. He scores all of their goals. Just put Nick Hagglund on him. It should be okay.
They sold Santi Rodriguez for 14 million euros to Botafogo, and they have spent like 0 of it replacing him. They have one of their DPs on loan in Brazil. They have a U22 on loan. They have James Sands, a TAM player,
on loan,
out on loan.
And injured, by the way, blew out his knee in the Bundesliga. And they're sitting on, according to the roster profile, $4.2 million in GAM.
Oof. This is a bad team.
Yeah.
And so,
can either of you name their head coach?
Oh my God. No.
I couldn't. I had to look it up. I had no idea who was coaching there.
It's not the same guy as last year, right?
Depends on who the guy was.
It's not Nick Cushing. Oh, it's Pascal Janssen.
Pascal Janssen. Yeah, Nick Cushing is coaching Manchester City Women's? Arsenal Women's?
Yes. No, he's coaching Man City Women. Yeah.
That's it. Weird. So yeah, I think talent-wise, we should beat them. I will say 5 wins in a row, 6 unbeaten. It can't go on forever. This does feel like the kind of game you'd expect. Not expect, but
I think the exact opposite. This feels like we're in that FC win streak that happens in April and May, and that propels us out to incredibly wild and unrealistic expectations.
So this is a win.
Better be.
I don't think they win it. I really don't. Like the win streak weighs in favor. This team, like you've watched this team try to play offense and pass. Do you really think this team's going to be able to successfully pass through on a small field with what they've shown so far this year?
Let me spin zone it. Small field, every free kick is closer to the goal.
Everything's in Evander's range. Yes.
The 3-point line is scooted in, and we got Curry on our team.
Does Evander have the green light from further out on the baseball field?
I think he has to.
Yeah.
I think Orishano has to be looking for one of those bombs.
When do they open their stadium? Like, is it soon? Because I'm sick of this shit.
2027. So you got 1 more year. But next year, if they play more games at Citi Field, you might see the construction on the broadcast because they're building it in the Citi Field parking lot.
Oh, boy. Yeah, so I'm going to predict.
Yeah, what are the predictions here?
2-0, New York.
Oh, breaking my heart, Chief.
I don't see it. Until this team shows me it can pass better.
That's pathetic. I'm sorry.
Fair enough.
if they lose to NYCFC,
this is where Grayson predicts 3-0 loss.
No, I'm serious. If they lose to NYCFC this weekend, they're on fraud watch.
Wow.
Oh no. They're not on fraud watch.
Given the lack of convincing performances to date against bad teams. I'm not trying to be negative, but I am saying that it is like kind of like, I was running on fumes and now I'm out of gas.
So it's all this is going to say if they lose this game is it's going to confirm what we already think. And this team sucks at passing, and that the skills you need to win in very confined spaces on a field like they play on, this team just doesn't have that club in the bag. And the good news is that absent NYCFC catching fire, they're not going to have to go there and play games again.
3-0 win.
I'd love it. I just don't see it.
I am going to stick with the prediction we made with Jonah back in December, Chief. A 1-0 victory, which would put us on track with our predictions, and it is kind of scary how good we were at predicting this season back then. The goals haven't quite landed there, but we're in the ballpark. So there you go. I'll take a 1-0 victory. Is there anything else from this match that we need to touch on before heading over to listener questions?
No. Let's do it.
All right. That'll do it for the preview. Let's head on over to part 2 with the Patreon question portion of the program. All right, we're back. Part 2. We are answering your questions. And by your, I mean the very lovely, very attractive people who give us money on Patreon. You can give us money on Patreon, and if you do that, we will answer a question on the episode, which is really exciting. That's something you can do. It's just $2 a month. It helps keep the lights on here at the Postcast. And we have some good questions to start off with. Let's see. I am going to assume this is a wrestling question.
Sweet.
Brandon Gregory asks, do you guys believe in Joe Hendry?
I would love to hear what you think this is, Kevin.
Joe Hendry. Is it wrestling? Was I correct on wrestling?
You are, in fact, wrestling.
Okay. Do I believe in him? Is Joe Hendry some sort of messianic figure?
No. He got RKO'd. He got RKO'd by Randy Orton at WrestleMania.
Oh, okay. Damn.
Yeah, he was he's Scottish. He's from TNA. Do I believe in Joe Hendry? No, I don't. I'm a Paul Heyman guy. I don't believe in Joe Hendry.
On a similar note, Tomas Hernandez asks, since WrestleMania will have passed by the time you read this question, whoa, how did he know? Which WWE wrestlers in their prime would you have wanted to see suit up for the FC, and what position would they play?
Ooh, I like this. I mean, right off the bat, I'm thinking Undertaker at center back.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
Dominating force in the air. Underrated agility. Man could walk the ropes like a tightrope. That was always exciting. So yeah, he would be number one. The problem is like suit up for the FC. Suit up for the FC, you're taking away one of the biggest tools in the toolbox for a great pro wrestler, and that's cutting a promo. Like, nobody needs to be able to cut a promo in the middle of a soccer match. I mean, maybe you got somebody like The Rock who would be enough to, like, shit heel bait his way into getting somebody else a card for doing something stupid by talking to him the entire time.
Yeah. That's what I was thinking, like, would you want like Stone Cold as a midfielder just to be the destroyer? Like, absolutely agitate the opposing team's star player.
Dropping the Stone Cold salute and hitting the stunner. Somebody tosses him a beer from the Bailey, cracking two of them to get two tall boys together after scoring a goal.
I'm going to be very basic in my wrestler references here. Andre the Giant as a goalkeeper, just because he is physically taking up a lot of the goal. That
he
feels
couldn't
good.
move though. Like, everyone forgets about Andre the Giant. Like, he had like horrid back problems and like had to be carried through most of the matches that he worked, and he was not agile the same way like the Big Show was, who was able to like get up on the top rope and do a moonsault.
So until Vince
McMahon told him, cut that shit out. You're not allowed to do that anymore. So I think the person who I would really want to see suit up for the FC is kind of a wrestler.
Ooh.
And that is Shane McMahon, the man who would be willing to do anything on live television in order to pop the ratings or get a spot over. The man jumped off the Titantron, jumped off a steel cage, went through plate glass windows when Kurt Angle suplexed him at King of the Ring. That's who I'm looking for. I'm looking for the guy who's willing to die on the field for the team. And that would be Shane McMahon.
There we go. Grayson, do you have any wrestlers you'd like to throw into the ring? Let's see what I did there.
Yeah. Becky Lynch.
I'm down for it.
Because I support women.
There you go. That's nice. She's shooting up for the FC, not okay, perfect.
Yeah, the FC.
Don't
tell JD.
Or Seth Rollins, for that matter.
Nick Keevy asks, as a lifelong Tigres fan since March, I have been very entertained by the hijinks of goalie Nahuel Guzman, Nahuel, Nahuel Guzman.
Well,
What?
You're pronouncing a second N. I didn't hear it in the spelling.
Nahuel Guzman.
He is not well with the way that you're pronouncing his name.
That is true. What wacky goalie tricks and stunts should Roman be using? This is good. We kind of saw one in the last match. I don't know if you guys remember their goalkeeper ran out really far out, sort of misjudged the run out and headed the ball as a clearance. It was really cool. I liked that.
I think in honor of the re-release of Revenge of the Sith into theaters, he should really go for like the Anakin Skywalker haircut. Like really let the lettuce flow.
Ooh.
It's an intimidating look. It says, I mean business, and that I also might kill children by the end of this movie.
Always like that from a goalkeeper.
You got to have a little bit of that chaos energy inside you, a little bit of that dark side.
The obviously like the scorpion kick clearances off the goal line will get lots of highlights, but there was a move that Tim Howard did for Everton near the end of his time with Everton that cracked me up. Was not technically illegal, but boy, walked right up to the sort of spirit of the law yellow card for a handball. So obviously he's the goalkeeper. The ball is rolling out to the 18-yard box, but it's not quite going to get into the box in time before the on-rushing attacker is going to meet the ball. Howard runs out to the ball and he doesn't like have time to clear it. And I forget why the situation made sense, but what he did was he dove on the ball with his chest and like laid on it for just a second, helped use the momentum to move the ball, and then was able to clear it. And the opposing team was furious with this because they felt like this was against the spirit of the sport and was completely within the rules. And as far as I know, they did not edit the rules in any way to prevent this. So I would like to see Roman chest stop the ball on the ground outside of the box. That would be a sick trick. So there you go.
He can get a neck tattoo. I think that would be intimidating.
We're always pro neck tattoo here at the Post.
What's this like? Isn't that like kind of like, do you ever see the movie Basketball?
Yes.
Where like the idea is you have to psych someone out as they're trying to shoot the free throw.
You get
like,
points.
Yeah.
And that movie was so weird because it's like if you psyched somebody out, they would like fall.
They fall over. Yeah, they were so
rattled. Ball into the backyard.
That they would fall over.
Yeah, like, throw the ball into the crowd. There's got to be a psych out move that a goalkeeper can adopt, right? Like there's got to be something you can do that just is kind of, a little messed up.
Throw your glove at them.
Like have a message on your gloves so that when you hold it up, only they can see it, and it's kind of something screwed up a little bit.
Ooh.
Yeah, you have like a little symbol on each one of your fingers.
Yeah, like a marijuana leaf, a smiley face, a cross, and a skull.
I don't know if you guys have looked up anybody with an MS-13 tattoo, but they're not subtle. Okay, they're not usually trying to hide it.
Microsoft Windows 13. I can't wait for that release.
Yeah, I also think that we shouldn't be encouraging. I mean, Roman's probably okay, but we probably shouldn't be encouraging most of the team to get any kind of tattoo.
That's a good point. It's a good point.
American flags only.
You know what's funny? This actually goes very well with our next question from Amanda, who starts it off by saying, "Feel free to skip." To which I say,
"No, I can't wait to hear this one."
No way, Amanda. No, she says. I'm assuming she. I excitedly got tickets to take my niece to the US Women's National Team Friendly at TQL, without factoring in the current atmosphere. Any advice on how to show support for the national team, but at like an appropriate tone for a post-January time?
I think the way that you show, like, go all out for the fact that it's the women's game. Go get yourself a kit with your favorite U.S. women's national team player. Go get Rose Lavelle. Go, classic team, get like a Brandy Chastain or something like that, or somebody, from back in the day. There's nothing, there's nothing you can do that will make the right kind of people angry, quite like supporting women's sports.
Also, it feels like pride kind of gear is like very common at the women's games. And so if that's a thing you care about, you can get, I think you can buy like the shirts with like the pride numbers, or
just dress like you're going to a Kesha concert. That'll work too.
Yeah. Glitter.
Yeah.
In case anybody else is going to the Kesha Scissor Sisters concert at Riverbend this summer.
Yeah. Yes.
Just wear the same thing.
Yeah. I can neither confirm nor deny that tickets have been purchased in the Chief household.
Brutal videos from no, sorry, I was thinking Katy Perry. Whew, okay.
No.
Yeah. No. I think you can support the women's team without worrying that you're sending some kind of weird message.
Yes. I was reminded of this Mark Twain quote that maybe will help you find sort of the mindset that you're looking for here. I believe this was him being asked to comment on patriotism, but the quote was, "Loyalty to the country always, loyalty to the government when it deserves it." Okay, you can still support the soccer team. Doesn't mean you gotta support everything. So
who are they playing? That's also a big question too.
I think Ireland.
Which, that's you're fine. Don't worry about this one.
Yeah.
And for other people, we don't know why anybody would have any mixed feelings about supporting the US in anything. Oh my God.
I guess the woke version of that is, it's always been this place, baby. It just took the mask off, all right? You've always been cheering for this. Think about it.
If you're planning on ordering the kit from DHgate, you might be too late. I'll just
You're never getting that kit, just to be clear.
The window may have passed on that one.
It might be illegal for them to make that kit in China by the time you order it. Cuccio asks... I'm going to assume that's a birth given name. In honor of the greatest postseason and trophy in all of sports, as Cincinnati fans, who should we be pulling for in the NHL playoffs?
Oh, I love this question.
Cuccio then listed all of the teams in the NHL playoffs, and I got to be honest with you, it appears to be the entire NHL.
Yeah, a lot of teams make the playoffs in the NHL. You got a lot of good options there, Cuccio. As a Cincinnatian, the beauty of being a Cincinnatian is that you have no allegiance whatsoever that you should feel compelled to support when it comes to the NHL. You shouldn't feel compelled to support any team from Columbus, but fortunately, the Blue Jackets suck something fierce, and there is absolutely no reason that you would ever want to become a Blue Jackets fan just by proximity. Which means that I think the next closest team to Cincinnati is probably either Nashville or Pittsburgh, maybe Detroit.
Well, Pittsburgh's out of the playoffs.
Pittsburgh is out of the playoffs.
Pittsburgh finished like last place.
Yeah, not great. Time for a rebuild, but they're the last people that understand that they need to have a rebuild. So of teams left,
think Detroit is in it.
Detroit has been bad since the fall of the Soviet Union, and they could no longer have that pipeline of exclusively Russian players back in the 90s when they were just basically the Red Army team. So teams that you should consider supporting right now. If you want to ultimately just be horrendously disappointed like most Cincinnati sports fans. Consider one of the Canadian teams, either the Edmonton Oilers or the Toronto Maple Leafs. Edmonton Oilers have Draisaitl and Connor McDavid. They are electric. They're exciting. Unfortunately, they don't play defense, and their goalkeeping is atrocious. The Toronto Maple Leafs, I may have sent a text message that I regret to a certain friend of the postcast that is of Canadian citizenship during the Leafs game last night.
What did you do?
I feel bad. I felt bad after I sent it because I forgot how much they really care up there. So the Leafs were up in this series 3-0. Last night was game 5 after dropping a game to make it 3-1. I think they were playing Ottawa, and so Ottawa was up 1-0, and I sent the text message to our good friend Carter Chapley and said, everyone in Toronto knows what's happening in this series if they don't win this game tonight, right?
Oh, no.
And I got a very terse response to that made me feel really bad about what I'd said. So, I mean, yeah, you can support the Leafs. They've got Austin Matthews. He's electric, but like they're going to absolutely break your heart. The best story in hockey right now, though, is
before you get to the best story, just a little bit of fuel to the Leafs fire. Based on what I've been able to Google here, that is who the Cyclones are currently affiliated with. They bounce around every couple of years, so yeah, you can kind of cheer for the parent team there.
Cheer for the parent team there. Best story in hockey right now is the Washington Capitals. Alex Ovechkin just broke the points record, or the goal scoring record from Wayne Gretzky. Yeah, just the goal scoring record from Wayne Gretzky. They should be in a rebuild right now. They should be awful, but they've actually managed to have a great year this year with Ovi. They just advanced out of the. I think they beat. They were winning against Montreal as we record this. So
they advanced according to the NHL website.
Well, then that's just absolutely outstanding. So the Caps are a lot of fun. And then over in the West, I don't like any of those teams. I mean, Vegas is always good. Vegas is decently fun to root for. Dallas and Colorado are playing in a series right now where I think Dallas is leading the series, but they haven't led more than like 90 seconds because they keep winning in overtime. So, yeah, I would say go with Washington or go with one of the Canadian teams and just prepare to have your heart ripped out.
Yeah, so I wouldn't call myself a fan of hockey, although I love going to NHL games. I have been to many of them because as a student at an unnamed institution in Washington, D.C., I used to be able to get $15 student tickets that included a free voucher for Chipotle.
Whoa.
For the Washington Capitals. So I did develop an affinity for the Washington Capitals. And I used to, I used to go up to their games when they played the Blue Jackets. And I think the year that they won the Stanley Cup, I went to both games that were in Columbus. And I saw them clinch that round against the Blue Jackets. That was pretty nice. And I say that because while I am predisposed to support the Capitals here, I do think that we probably should be rooting for whoever comes out of the Maple Leafs Senators series. It does feel like Ontario's time at the moment. Ontario is kind of holding Canada and the US. Like it's kind of like, I don't know. It's kind of like holding it together for both of us at the moment.
Which means I think this ends in a Ontario-Washington semifinal.
Well, so Ontario includes both Ottawa and Toronto.
Right. Well, I'm saying whoever advances plus Washington. Yeah.
So I am putting forth that whoever comes out of the Maple Leafs Senators series should be our team, and with a slight preference to the Maple Leafs, given the Cyclones affiliation, and that we have a direct flight to Toronto.
Done.
Just the problem is Toronto's not going to win that series.
No.
I think Toronto is like 1-15 or 1-16 in their last elimination games. Like they choke. It's what the Leafs do. It's their telos.
It may not surprise people after hearing that it is the same ownership group that owns Toronto FC, by the way.
Well, because it's called like Maple Leaf Sports.
Yeah, Maple Leaf
Enterprise
Sports
or something.
Enterprise or Entertainment. Yeah.
Let me just for 30 seconds here.
Please.
Pick a team, watch hockey. You know, playoff hockey is incredible. I agree with Grayson. It's 1A with me, along with soccer, in terms of best live sporting experience that you can have. It is an absolute blast. The games are a blast. What's really nice about the playoffs, too, is they play every other night. Is that you are not waiting at these weird lengths of time between games. The games are intense. Overtime playoff hockey is incredible. It's super easy. It's super accessible to watch on like most basic, streaming service like Tubi. Not Tubi, but like Fubo, YouTube TV, whatever it is.
Yeah.
The games are pretty easily accessible. It's just a ton of fun.
Yeah, and when I said like I'm not really a fan of hockey, what I mean is like because I didn't grow up watching the sport and because we don't have a NHL team here, it just doesn't hit my priority list of like if I'm watching a game.
Yeah.
What am I going to make time for specifically to watch? But playoff hockey is definitely worth making time for. And if you do have a chance to go to an NHL game and you haven't, it doesn't matter if you have a team or not. Those games are a blast and best third team in sports.
It's
in my
not
opinion.
even close either, too.
And it's not close.
Yeah, hockey is the best officiated sport of any of the major sports. Fun fact about the Chief household growing up. We were year one season ticket holders for the Cincinnati Cyclones when they started because Chief Sr., massive hockey fan, was a season ticket holder to the New York Rangers when he was in high school.
Wow.
Yeah.
Cyclones were affiliated with the Rangers last year, the year before.
It's like they jump every 2 years.
It doesn't matter.
They don't stick very close.
Most
very
of
long.
them can't skate backwards, so it doesn't matter.
They just spin a wheel.
Yeah. All right, we got 3 more questions. Drew asks, are you going to play GTA 6 when it gets released?
You got $100.
I don't know what that is, so no.
First $100 video game of all time.
Look, here's my problem with GTA. Grand Theft Auto
because of
was
tariffs.
No, it's a whole thing.
I don't want to know. Let's move.
Production costs of video games have skyrocketed.
Let's keep rolling. They said, are you playing the game or not? Let's go.
The answer is probably not, because Grand Theft Auto started as a parody of so many other video game tropes. And then what should have been a joke, the shark cards with the GTA Online, turned into like the biggest moneymaker ever. And they just stopped making video games and started charging 12-year-olds $30 in real US dollars to get them to play online. It's terrible. They turned a beloved franchise into Roblox, and I'm mad.
Heard it here first.
Bailey Wrasslin, Rolson. Wow. ROLSEN, Rolson, asks, what is your starting 11 of the most hated current or past MLS players?
Oh, this is good.
Brad.
John Tolkien's got to be on there, right?
Yeah, John Tolkien, left back.
Yeah.
Left back.
Maxim Chanot, Aaron Long, center backs.
Yes.
Brooks Lennon, right back.
Brad Guzan, goalkeeper.
Really?
Yeah, I hate Brad Guzan.
That was more for Chief. I don't know of any other goalkeeper though that I'm like.
I would say like what's Nashville's goalkeeper's name? Because he flicked Joe McCarthy. Is that his name? He flipped
Joe Willis.
Flipped off Brenner.
Yeah. So Joe Willis.
He's got a stupid mustache.
What about Bobby Edwards? Because he can't pronounce Tifo correctly.
No, he can't pick our own guys.
He can't pick our own guys.
But I will say, throw Lucho Acosta in the midfield.
No, Frankie Amaya definitely in the midfield.
Frankie Amaya is in the midfield.
Not a striker. Defensive mid.
Frankie Amaya's in the midfield.
Most hated. Can you put Messi in this midfield?
Yeah, put Messi in the midfield.
No, I don't want to play against him. Oh, we don't have to play against this team.
We don't have to play against them. Just name
this team would literally be the worst team to play against. I mean, it sounds like it'd actually be an okay team, but I think it would be awful to play against.
Who's up top?
Super annoying. Like Joseph Martinez always scores against us.
I mean, Christian Ramirez.
Joseph Martinez might be the right play. Like even when he was playing for Montreal, he was still scoring against us.
Joseph Martinez is up top.
Scored the goal of the year against us in 2019.
Should we put Zelarayan in the midfield?
Yes.
Cucho?
I feel like for me, Zelarayan is more hated than Cucho.
I hated Cucho.
All right, Cucho's up top too, next to Joseph.
Yeah, I hate them both.
This is a really good team.
I know with this team actually kind of rules, and I hate it.
We need like a defensive midfielder.
I don't hate most of them enough.
Mark Anthony K.
No, defensive mid is
Anthony K.
No, Frankie Amaya is the defensive mid.
Okay, well, Mark Anthony K is next to him.
Yeah, it's a double.
There's a lot of players on this team.
Yeah.
No, we did a 4-4-2.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we'll do the 4-4-2. Pat Noonan won't.
So the team is Martinez and Cucho.
Yep.
Messi, Mark Anthony K, Amaya, and Zelarayan.
Yeah.
And then Tolkien, Aaron Long, Maxime Chanot, Brooks Lennon, Brad Guzan.
I hate this team so much.
So mad he punched his microphone.
And every member of Pro officiating.
Yeah, actually, it's just all of the referees are on the field at the same time. Man, that would have been a really funny bit.
Caleb Porter. Yeah, no, it's definitely Caleb Porter.
Of course. It really would have been a funny bit to just name 11 referees as the starting 11.
Third team, man.
Final question. It's individual questions for each of us. From Damon Gumber, who says, hello, I have a 3-part question, and I'm allowed to do that because I pay you $2 a month and you don't pay me to write for your website.
It's hurtful, but fair.
He asks, Chief, what is the most annoying thing anyone has said to you about your height?
It's all like, if you can believe this, it happens so often that I'm on autopilot with it at this point. And like, if it was bothering me or I acknowledged it, like beyond just like, oh yeah, thanks for asking. Thanks for noticing. Like if it did that, I would have gone around the bend a long time ago. Okay. So one time I did have someone get kind of shitty with me on an airplane by saying, well, why aren't you sitting in first class? And I was like, I don't know. I'm like right out of law school and I can't afford it, ma'am. This is an AirTran flight. What do you want?
I like that. Why didn't you spend a lot more money to be not near me?
Right. I'm sorry. This sucks. You think I like this either?
Yeah, I have to live in this.
I'm stuck next to you.
What's the most common one you get? Is it anything involving basketball?
Always basketball. It's like, did you play basketball? For a while, I just started lying, and I would like name a different college each time.
That's good.
And it would always be like some team that was like a 16 seed. That's gotten a lot harder to do now that like the internet exists and people would like think to look that up, and then you're being a jerk about it.
You could say you were like the runner-up in a CBI.
Yeah.
Might be enough.
For a while, I was like, no, I had horrific leg injuries, and then they felt bad about it. And then I felt like a dick doing that too. And then the other one is always, man, I wish I had a little bit of your height. It's like, you don't.
So what, like, are you expected to give them some of
I don't
your
know how that
height?
would, I don't know exactly know how that would work. It's just sort of, it is what it is.
Grayson, the question to you is, in what scenario, and please be detailed, would you willingly and with an open mind attend a professional wrestling event?
If somebody asked me the day of. I wasn't doing anything else.
Okay.
My wife was out of town.
All right.
The ticket being offered me was free.
Right.
And it was like either like a really like good seat or in some kind of suite.
I can make this happen.
I think David.
Where
and
are you
Chief
going to
may
send
be
my
scheming.
wife?
Don't worry about it.
Oh no.
I'll go to stuff. It's just like I only got so much time, man.
Right. And then my question is, how's JoJo doing? Tell her I miss her, and only her, and not Franklin. Those are my two dogs that Damon on occasion house sits for. So there you go. That is, according to my scrolling through here, every April question. We did it.
Look at us.
We did it.
Hell yeah. And on that note, fuck Columbus.